This recipe has easily become my favorite way to make roast chicken at home. It's straightforward, flavorful, juicy, and has way more going on than your average roast chicken. Let me show you why I'm obsessed with Peru's Pollo a la brasa. What I wanted to achieve with this version is juicy white meat, well-cooked dark meat, browned crispy skin, and smoky flavor, all within a home oven. Let's start with the marinade for the chicken, because this is how we can achieve the right seasoning and smoky goodness. This is a little trick I learned from Admiral Gucia, his roast chicken videos. He talks about cutting through the drumsticks and the thigh meat to help it cook faster. One of the biggest issues, I think, with roasted chicken is the difference in temperature between the breast meat and the dark meat that's here. So the dark meat needs to get a lot hotter, probably like 20 degrees hotter than the breast meat. The breast meat's gonna be best at like 160 riding up to 165 Fahrenheit. And the dark meat is really, really great at like 180 to 200 degrees. That's when it gets like really nice and tender and fully apart-y. As a kid, I really hated dark meat because it was so rubbery and like kind of gristly. And I think a lot of that was just because it was never cooked enough. So I'm gonna salt this now. That way I don't have to account for salt in the marinade. And that way you don't have to really worry about it because you've already salted the meat itself. And I'll salt everything. Make sure it's really, really nice and seasoned. The rule of thumb is about a teaspoon of salt per pound of meat. And so I'll shoot for that when it comes to how much I'm sprinkling in and around this chicken. Okay, that's salted into the bowl. I'm gonna marinate it in this bowl actually. So I'll clean this up and then I'll get working on the marinade. This marinade is a very, very cool, also very simple combination of things like vinegar and soy sauce and dark beer and a lot of garlic. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of pretty much all of these things. So 2 tablespoons of a soy sauce. A dark one's nice because it gives you some color as well. And then I'll do 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You do white vinegar, you do rice wine vinegar, something like that would work well. I just think the sweetness of the apple cider vinegar is pretty good here. So 2 tablespoons of that. This is the key ingredient, I would say. This is aji panca. It's sort of the key to this whole thing working. So it's delicious. It's like spicy chipotle with more sweetness, more fruitiness, almost like a raisiny type flavor. But I think it's also like nice and hot. Probably not quite as hot as chipotles would be, but it's very, very delicious. 2 tablespoons of this guy. Boop. Boop. I will link to it down below, and you can buy it online and they'll ship it to you, which is really nice. Garlic. I want essentially a whole head of garlic. This is pre-peeled. You can judge me all you want. I didn't want to peel this much garlic. I want about an entire head of garlic, and I need that in paste form. Calling it there. Probably 1 whole head of garlic about. Look, I realize that's a lot of garlic, but there's a lot of chicken here. So it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be intermingled. It's gonna be covered. We're looking nice so far. Pepper, just gonna do it straight up on the chicken. This is gonna get mixed around, and it's easier just to pepper the chicken than try to guess how much needs to go into the marinade. A bunch of rosemary. So I'll just pick that and chop that up. With some of like the softer herbs, you can totally put the stem in. Things like rosemary, thyme, those kind of harder, woodier herbs, you really don't want the stems. You can see this is literally like a stick, so don't include that in your marinades. That's not gonna be good. Rosemary is a pretty overpowering flavor if you add too much of it, I find. So I'm just gonna do that much, and I'll tell you what, that smells pretty nice. Rosemary is such a good smell, dude. Holy jeez. I want it really fine though, because it is a heartier herb. I want it nice and fine, so it's not gonna like, no one's gonna get a big bite of a rosemary sprig. That much of it, probably like a ½ teaspoon or so, is gonna go into the marinade. I'll clean up the floor later. Okay, last 2 things are kind of fun. This is dark beer. This is a nice dark ale that will also get added. You know, just a little bit. Delicious. This dish is normally made on like massive spits, rotisserie style, with live fire and wood, and that wood is imparting a nice smoky flavor. It's not like a smoked chicken, but it is a little bit more of a smoky flavor. So I'm just gonna use liquid smoke, just a little bit of hickory liquid smoke to sort of mimic, literally, ooh, that may have been too much. You know, not a requirement, but this marinade, all of the garlic and all of the rosemary, It's kind of pasty. And then you got that aji panca with the flavorful spice and the raisiny sweetness. It's like extra punchy barbecue sauce in the best way. This is closer to a paste than a lot of traditional recipes because I want this marinade to really, really get in and get working. So I'm gonna spoon this on. I may save a little bit back just to see how much we're working with. Hands. Really just work it in. Make sure everything's nice, covered. Oh, dude, it smells so good. Oh, I'll show you. I'll bring you in close. Beautiful. So much color, so much flavor. I'm gonna put this in the fridge, uncovered, at least overnight, maybe 2 days, depending on how I'm feeling. It has technically been 2 days of marinating now. So this chicken is absolutely seasoned to the bone, and we are ready to get roasting. I've got my tray here with a little rack that is a little bit smaller than the tray. And this is gonna go in a 400-degree oven. I like to use convection roast if you've got it. It just moves the air around the chicken and makes sure everything gets nice and cooked and even, and it helps kind of dry out the skin a little more as well. Oop, let's get this on there. Boom, bam. There's a little leftover marinade and kind of like salty chicken juice in here that I'm just gonna get on the top. When I put this in the oven, I like to put the dark meat closer to the back of my oven because it gets hotter. Just a little bit of a trick. If your oven is not like that, don't worry about it. It's just one thing that I like to do. It tends to be the case with most ovens because the door is on the front side. I'm gonna go in with some water on the tray as well. The water is just gonna keep anything from burning down there. This is gonna be in that oven for at least an hour, if not an hour 15. That's gonna help get the skin nice and brown and delicious and crispy and get that meat all good and juicy and falling apart. I'll go ahead and set a 1 hour timer. I'll check the chicken at 1 hour, just see where it's at. Okay, these two sauces are very, very important for our dipping sauce. This right here, yellow hot pepper paste. It kind of tastes like fruity, quite spicy, quite fruity, kind of like a less spicy habanero. This is Huacatay, which is like a black mint. It's kind of smoky. It tastes like a salty, not so bright mint. Herbal, but not bright. It's kind of like deep herbal. It's good. Sauces are gonna be mandatory for the chicken and fries. Ketchup, easy. Mayo, easy. Aji Amarillo, a little bit more work, but it's traditional and it's worth it. Into a food processor, add a shallot and a clove of garlic. I like to blitz these down so they're broken down first. Now 2 tablespoons of our Aji Amarillo paste go in, a half cup of mayo, the juice of a lime, a tablespoon of ketchup, salt, pepper, a half teaspoon of Huacatay, and then most recipes call for a lot of fresh cheese. This is about 1/3 cup of Queso Fresco. This all gets blitzed until completely smooth. In tasting the sauce, I wanted a little bit more lime and a little olive oil. Smooth, a bit spicy, nice and fruity, salty, tangy. It's delicious and goes so well with the chicken. French fries are the side of choice for this chicken, which is perfect because French fries are, incredible. What I'll do today is just use frozen fries. Judge me all you want, but there are really great brands of frozen fries nowadays, and I see nothing wrong with using them. The oven's already going, so I'll get these baking while the chicken is resting. The chicken was ready to come out of the oven right at about 1 hour and 5 minutes. The coloring is beautiful, but it's always worth temping. The breasts are temping above 160 and the thigh is well above 170. With a chicken this large, it can rest for like 20 to 30 minutes. The juices are gonna redistribute around the meat and it's still gonna be warm when you cut into it. For carving, I like to do this really, really simply. Let me show you. The joints around the thigh are easy to separate from the carcass using your hand. So basically I just push down on the drumsticks until the thigh is sort of wiggling around the joint. All you need to do is cut through the ligaments connecting the thigh bone to the actual hip. This gives you an entire leg piece. You could totally cut those in half if you want drumsticks and thighs separate. The wings are just a chef snack in my house. They're my favorite, so I eat them as I carve. The breasts need to be sliced off of the center breastplate. There's a bone running right in the middle of the chicken. Once you make that first cut slightly to the side of the breastplate, it's really easy to pretty much just peel the meat down with gravity and the whole piece of breast meat should come off. Even though it comes off in one, it is technically 2 pieces. The tenderloin is running inside of that breast meat meat. If you want to keep it separate, you totally can. If you want to cut the breast with it, that works too. When a bird has been seasoned and marinated like this one, the breast meat should be so juicy and tender. No dry white meat here. Slice big hunks of the white meat so everybody can have some, and keep the skin on each piece. This chicken is honestly incredible. It's a little bit spicy from the aji panca paste, a little bit smoky from that liquid smoke, and then when you dunk it in the Aji Amarillo, it's insane. My wife and I have never been to Peru, but it's at the top of our list and it's been there for a long time. Hopefully soon we can go experience it firsthand. Until then, I've got this chicken to keep me company. I'm Cameron Marty and I'm here to show you incredible regional dishes from all over the world. If you're into that, go ahead and subscribe. I want to give a massive shout out to the amazing people supporting me directly on Patreon through patreon.com/CameronMarty. They get some cool benefits like early access to videos, direct access to me, so check it out and consider becoming a patron. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.